Hi guys, it's Lynn here. I hope everyone is really safe and well. Now today it's some repotting time and I'm going to be repotting my Euphorbia Stellata. And this particular Euphorbia is part of the Medusoid family, where there's quite a few different types of Medusa type Euphorbias. They all have these lovely sort of hanging down little stems and these caudiciforms here. And the caudiciforms is where they store their water. And this particular plant now I'm going to be repotting. Repotted it last year, and as you can see, I'll just show you. It's got the root coming through there, so that's a good sign it needs repotting. And also I'm going to be changing the soil as well, because we started to use a different type of soil mix that was recommended by our wonderful friend Daz from Cacti Mania. So thank you, Daz. And this is equal parts of John Innes number 2, which is a loam based soil, added grit, added lava rock and added pumice, and I have to say it's really good. And if you want to know how to make this particular soil mix, do go over and check out Daz's video and subscribe to Daz as well. Links to Daz's video is up above. And also I want to give a very special thank you to my wonderful fiancé Hans, who is behind the camera filming me today, so I've got my hands free. So if you're not familiar with Hans's amazing channel, Family of Cactusina the Beauties, do go over and subscribe, links up above. And
Thank
also
you,
subscribe to my channel too. So here we go guys, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this little Euphorbia first. Well, as I say, it's one of the Medusia family. It's from South Africa. It has one of the caudiciforms there, which is where it stores its water, as well as in the little stems here. And it's one of them succulent plants that likes to be overwintered much warmer than some other type of cacti and succulents do. And I'd recommend keeping this one in the winter over 10 degrees Celsius, which is 50 degrees Fahrenheit, as they are not frost hardy or cold hardy in any form. And in the summer, spring and summer, I like to give it a water but allow the soil to totally dry out before I give any water again. As I say, they store their water in here. They can go a while without water, even in the spring and summer. So let the soil dry out totally. And what I do then in the winter is I keep this practically dry. We have it in our kitchen, which is kept sort of quite cool, but obviously above 10 Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll only give this a bit of water if these stems here start to really shrivel up. Then we'll give it a bit of water. But other than that, we sort of keep that dry in the winter, because they are very rot prone because of the caudex there. And they do have a habit, when they sort of grow and send out all these lovely new wacky sort of Medusa-like stems, whatever you want to call them, modified leaves, they often die back, the old ones there. And all you have to do then is just really prune them back. And I have made a video on how to prune the dead leaves off the Medusoid type of Euphorbias. And if you want to know how to do it, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to link you up above to a video on how to actually do that if you want to know. A video I've made, links up above. And first of all, before I repot this, I'm going to give it a little bit of a pruning back. Now, as I say, like all succulents, this particular succulent does love to have as much sunshine as possible. So it's not one of those succulents you can just put in a shady place and forget about it. They love direct sunlight. As long as you can give them plenty of ventilation. If you have them on a very sunny window during the spring and summer, do make sure that you have plenty of ventilation with windows open and things like that. So if you have these in a greenhouse or polytunnel, we put ours probably keep ours in the window in the kitchen for the summer as well, because it's a great sunny position, and we have the window open in there during hot days, so it's plenty of ventilation. And then when it comes to feeding, probably a little bit of fertiliser, maybe once every 6 weeks. These particular Euphorbias don't need too much fertiliser, so just once every 6 weeks with a good quality cactus and succulent fertiliser. And that's pretty much it with its care. And that's a few little care tips on. It's fairly easy to grow and care for in every other way. And now I'm going to show you repotting. As I say, when it comes to repotting anything, it's always best to sort of soften around the pot first to loosen up them roots. If you have a clay pot, it can be a bit more difficult, and in the past sometimes you've had to smash clay pots to get them out without damaging the roots, but this should come out fairly easy. And then you want to just hold it back there. There you go. And to show you, that's got a great root system. Look at that lovely big healthy fleshy juicy root, guys. And this soil we used here was a mix of a bit of horticultural sand and John Innes loam, and also a little bit of a grit as well in there. But I'm going to be trying out the new mix, which we're very happy with on this plant. And what I always like to do, if you don't need to, I'd recommend not disturbing the roots as much as possible. But I always like to try to do is, and this guy's got a great root system, no bugs. You need to check obviously things like root mealybug, always. The woolly little deposits are always on the edges there. Don't get confused with little white bits like that of perlite. These tiny little white bits there are often food from that they actually add into the John Innes compost, so that can be a bit confusing if you think, oh, there's white bits. I just try to loosen a little bit of the old soil away without damaging the roots in any form possible. So as I say, this is pretty much good soil I've got on it anyway, so I don't need to really worry too much. But so to acclimatise this to the new soil, I'm just loosening up these roots here, and that's it. Don't want any damage, as less as possible. Once I do repot, I do this with the majority of all of my cacti succulents, unless they're sort of some of the epiphytes. I always like to keep them dry for about a week to 10 days in the new soil before I start to water again. And the reason why I do this, it gives the roots a chance to settle into the new soil and the new pot. And this is just something that I prefer to do, just to minimise any chance of root rot. Should any of these roots that, as I show you there, it's almost impossible to repot without taking some of the roots away, no matter how careful you are. And sometimes this can cause root rot if I just pot up and go ahead with watering now. So just to let you know. Again, spring and summer is always the best time to repot cacti and succulents. Spring is the best time of year before they're coming to really active growth, or just when they're starting to wake up, if you have the choice. But I know many growers who repot in the winter and just keep them dry and happy like that, so whatever suits you. But spring and summer is better for me, so there you go, loosened it up there. And I put slightly bigger pot. I always like to go up just one size rather than too big of a size. I've already filled the soil at the bottom there, just a little bit. I'm going to gently place that in like so. Hansi's doing a great job there. And there's this lovely cactus and succulent mix that we're really happy with. And as I say, do check out Dazzy's soil mix if you want to know. So I've always sort of used 4 equal parts of a loam, sand, grit and perlite and things like that. Always been happy with it, but I have to say this mix, I really like the texture of it. There you go, and always gently tap around just so the soil falls all around the pot. And as I say, I've made a few videos on how to repot cacti over the years. So if you want to know a special video I've made on how to repot a cactus, do check a video I've made. I'll links up above to that now. And I showed 2 or 3 different examples of different types of cacti, all different shapes and sizes. As I say, this is a succulent, not a cactus. But a lot of succulents are often wrongly called cacti because they have the spines or thorns in the case of these type of succulents. So there we go, gently tucking it in. I wouldn't recommend pressing really hard down. Just want to gently tap the pot so the soil gets all around. You want to make sure the soil falls down and there's not really any air pockets. There we go. As you can see, it's a little bit more. Some people recommend covering the whole of the caudiciform, but I personally wouldn't do that. I like to have a bit of it showing, because again, these caudiciform type of euphorbias are rot prone if the big caudiciform is covered completely. So there we go, gently tapping in, and that's it. And then what I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to wait about 10 days before I start to water this again. And I have to say, it looks a lot better, doesn't it, guys? And then I've got the little label on, Euphorbia Stellata, one of the Medusias. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the little video. And if you want to know a little bit more on how to grow cacti and succulents, then please do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. And I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video. Bye. Bye. Thank you for repotting me.